Tonight's story involves murder, detection, triple execution and gibbeting or displaying of the body. The point of gibbeting or the displaying of the body was so that it would deter potential criminals from carrying out a similar act. Now, in a small village, or just outside of a small village called Elsdon in Northumberland, there is a house which is now farm storage and believed to be the actual house of Margaret Crozier. Although there's no plaque or anything to say so, it is just being deemed that this is the most likeliest of locations for the actual house. And if you have a look, you can see how it's a house at the back, and then it's got a little bit at the front which looks like a front store, because Margaret Crozier had a draper's shop, and it was because of this draper's shop that the crime was committed. Now, the plaque says that the body of William Winter was put on display in 1791, which is incorrect, because the actual crime took place in 1791 on the night of the 24th of August. It wasn't until 1792 that his body was eventually displayed. So what actually happened on the 24th of August in 1791? Well, as I said, because William and the two Clark sisters, Jane and Eleanor, believed Margaret Crozier to be quite wealthy because of owning the shop, they watched her and realised that she lived alone and didn't have very many visitors. So they went on this particular fateful night and knocked on the door. Margaret Crozier answered the door and invited the trio in, which was to be her biggest and last mistake that she was ever to make. Because once inside, the trio set about their deadly deed. William grabbed Mrs. Crozier and started to choke her. Now, it's said that he caved in her skull, that he slit her throat, but the general consensus is that he simply strangled her. Whilst this was going on, the Clark sisters ransacked the house for any trinkets or anything that they could steal and sell. Once the deadly deed was done and Margaret Crozier was expired, they then left and set up the next morning in a sheepfold to divvy up their ill-gotten gains. This proved to be their mistake, because there was a passing boy who saw them, who realised that some of the items that they had belonged to Margaret Crozier, and also noticed a slight pattern on William Winter's boots, the way his nails were in the bottom of his boots. And when he reported this to the authorities, it was proven to be the patterns that were left on the floor of the cottage. And so the trio were put to trial, found guilty, and then sentenced to death. On the 10th of August 1792, the execution took place. The two sisters were sent off to a doctor for dissection, because it was how in those days they discovered about diseases, and also they examined criminals' minds, etc. William, however, suffered a more horrific fate, or his body suffered a more horrific fate, in the fact that it was took to a place called Steng Cross and put on a gibbet. The gibbet was next to a road, so passers-by could see it, and it was in direct line with Margaret Crozier's house. So let's go and have a look at the gibbet. So normally there's a wooden head hanging from the gallows, but it's England, so you can expect people have been stealing it often. I've actually just spoken to one of the villagers, and they're in the process of trying to get the head replaced, but as you can see, it's no longer there. this is the base of the original gallows, which is wrong, because this was the base of the Steng Cross, which showed that it was the largest or the highest area on this Drover Road, because this is where they used to drive the cattle from Scotland down to Newcastle. As you can see, it's quite a long road, but this is the highest point of it, and that's what the cross represented, and that's what gave it its name of Steng Cross. But this is the gallows itself. It's the third instalment of the gallows. The original was obviously rotted away. I mean, you're talking 1792, so the original one rotted away, and they replaced it. In 1867 it was replaced, and then they replaced it again because again it rotted away. Now the original was supposed to, the wood from the original was supposed to be able to cure even toothache. If you were to rub the wood on a toothache, it was supposed to clear it. I don't know how true that is, and obviously there's no way of testing it because the wood is no longer here. But that is the folklore from this particular area. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a spirit box and an EVP, just to see if we can actually make contact with William himself. So let's set it away. We'll stick that there. We'll get the EVP out as well. I've also in my hand I've got an EMB, which at the moment's reading quite normal. It's reading around the 45 mark, so there's no sign of anything around here. Let's get the EVP going as well, just in case we happen to pick something up. The spirit box is scanning away there, and as of yet, as you can hear, has not picked anything up. Just bear with me whilst I set this up. So there we go, that's recording. So let's see if William is here and if he's willing to speak to us. So, hello, is William here? Is there anybody called William around? Would you like to speak to us? Now he's either very shy or he just doesn't want to talk to us. Now if you look around the area, the nearest thing to interference with us is the pylons across there, but there's nothing else. So if we do actually get any readings or we get any recording on the spirit box or on the voice recording, it means that there is something here. As of yet, we've got nothing. Now, could this be because he was hung in Newcastle and his spirit is there, or could it just be that he's not here tonight? You know, remember, as I've always said on the paranormal experience, I'll never dismiss anything. Although I don't believe in it, I'll never dismiss anything. And that's the reason why we've come here tonight, to actually see if there is anything around. The spirit box is still scanning. I don't know if you can see it from there, but it's scanning through the different frequencies. We've set it on a pretty low rate of scanning, as in it's going. We can't set it so it scans through quicker, but it's set on a pretty low one, just to give it a chance, so that if there is anything caught, we can actually hear it. But as of yet, obviously, there is nothing. The EMF is still reading at, well, it's gone up to 47. If I was to bring it closer, you would see that it stayed exactly the same all the way through. So William, are you willing to speak to us tonight? Do you want to speak to us tonight? Now whilst I'm watching the spirit box and obviously trying to talk to William, I'm also watching the EVP, and I can see the wavelengths of talking going on when I'm talking, but nothing else. I need to listen to that back, because you know, there may be him trying to talk over the top of me and it's just not getting picked up by the spirit box. There's definitely nothing from the EMF. You know, right up against the gallows, it's doing nothing. It's gone up to 55, but that could be the interference of the spirit box and the EVP. If I was to move it down, you'll see that the spirit box sends it up a bit, and the EVP does as well. But then when I bring it back up, it goes back to normal again. So there's nothing. So as I said, either William isn't with us tonight, or he's just not here either. That's up to you to decide. As I say, I'm an unbeliever, so I wasn't expecting much from tonight, but it's still worth coming out. It's a very nice place anyway. I mean, I'm sure on a lovely sunny day, it'll be a really nice area to come to. But so yeah, Winter's Gibbet, or Winter's Gibbet. That's it. Not the original one, but still a very nice tourist attraction if you wanted to come up here and take a look. It's just outside the village of Elsdon, which is in between Northumberland and Newcastle. As I say, this is Steng Cross, the place that it's built on, which is the highest along the Drove Road between Scotland and Newcastle. And the road to the right is the road that would take you to Newcastle, take you directly to Newcastle. So we're definitely getting nothing off the AMF. The spirit box has given us nothing. The EVP has given us nothing. Now we could stay here all night and probably get the same result. So I think for what we need, we've achieved. It's a shame. As I say, if you're a believer, I haven't proven that William doesn't exist. All I've proven is that William wasn't here tonight with us. He could well be here, but as I said, because he was only hung here after he was actually executed, that could be the reason why he's not actually visiting. They do say that he appears in a cattle grid, but if you have a look at the road, there is no cattle grid. We've travelled up and down this road and there's no cattle grid, so I don't know what cattle grid he's meant to appear at, or whether the cattle grid's been filled in or whatever. But there's no cattle grid on the road, so I can't even go to the place where his spirit has been seen to find out, because there is no cattle grid here. But as far as the spirit box is concerned, it's picking up nothing. The EVP I'll have to listen to later on, but the EMF is not picking up anything. And personally, I'm not getting any vibes off anything. So all I can say is very disappointing that we got nothing from this. But you know, as I say, there might have been here and he just wasn't here tonight, or it might be that he isn't here at all because he wasn't executed here. But any questions? Don't forget to get in touch with Amber and Radio, either on Facebook, via the website, whatever, and we shall see you in 2 weeks' time when we do our next live broadcast, wherever that may be.